Okay, so I can see 9 students have already joined. Uh, I guess Gokul, we can wait for another 5 minutes for the students to join in, and then maybe we can start.
Yeah, sure, not a problem.
Okay, yeah. We'll start by 6:05.
Sure.
Hello, Raju. Good evening. Yeah, so Gokul, I guess we should start the session.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, good evening, students. My name is Naushad, and I'm from Vidyalankar. Uh, Welcome to Vidyalankar, first of all. Today we are having another session of Toppers Talk, and today we have Mr. Gokul Pillai with us. Gokul is our ex-Vidyalankar student. He gave his GATE examination in 2020, and right now he is pursuing his MTech in Research from IISc Bangalore. So, today what we are going to do is we are going to have a Q&A session with Gokul, wherein you can post your questions on the chat box and you can clear all your doubts. You can ask whatever you want to.
Hello.
Gokul, we have
Uh,
already received. Yes.
Sorry, I just lost you for a minute. Yeah,
Okay.
now it's
No
fine.
problem.
Now I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you fine now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Gokul, we already have a list of questions which the students have given to us before the webinar, and there are actually many questions. But then to start with the session, I would really like to ask you, since this question is common, all these years counseling to the students, I have been getting these questions. They have been asking me कि क्यों करना चाहिए GATE, right? What is the importance of GATE examination? So my first question to you would be, what made you give GATE examination?
Basically, to put it very shortly, I would say that I was not satisfied with the level of education that I had acquired in my undergrad. I mean, I went to a normal college where there wasn't a lot of emphasis on education or even studying properly. We just used to study the day before the exam and get marks, and nobody else cared more than anything that. So I thought, the two options we usually have is that you either do an MS, you go abroad and do studies there, or you stay in India, or you do an MTech here. So I mean, everybody thinks that MS is always the better option, and if you can afford it, you should definitely go there. But then I was of the opinion that, I mean, I wasn't very keen on going abroad, so I started looking into options in India itself. This was during my third year when I came across that I didn't even know IISc till then, but that's when I read about IISc and MTech programs in IITs. So I started researching and looking up their curriculum and everything. And then read a couple of interviews from professors at IITs and IISc who said that a master's in India is also a good choice. It's not like the quality of education that we provide is any very, very inferior than what you get abroad. So I thought, then it sounds like a good idea if you can get a similar level of education. Of course, the top 10 abroad are always on a level of their own. But but you can get a similar level of education, and if you don't have to even spend a lot and you don't have to leave the country, so why not? So that's when I realized, that's when I started preparing for GATE. This was in my third year, so sixth semester is when I started preparing for GATE, and that's when I started. But to be very honest, I mean, I didn't really have the time because I had to manage college and I had to manage my final year projects and everything with GATE. So I couldn't given the amount of effort, time that I wanted to give, but I still prepared the best that I could, and then I gave my GATE in my final year. And so after that, yeah, so that is how it happened. And after that, I wasn't very satisfied with the result that I got. So I thought, I think we should do more, give it a proper preparation another time also. That is what I had in mind.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I was supposed to ask you. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, you gave your you give gate examinations for two times, right? So initially,
yeah,
when you gave your first attempt, you were not able to secure a good all India rank.
yeah,
But second time, when you gave your gate examination, you were able to score all India rank 101.
yeah.
So my question to you is, why did you went for the second attempt, and what are your learnings from the first attempt?
Yeah. So, I mean, after the first attempt, I realized that the result that which I had gotten wasn't an accurate reflection of the efforts that I put into my preparation. And it's not like I didn't have good chances, opportunities after my first attempt as well. I mean, my gate rank wasn't good enough, but then I had prepared for IIIT Hyderabad, which has an exam of its own. And I also had a couple of job offers, which are not great job offers, but this still it was something, right? And so IIIT Hyderabad had actually called me for an interview. But then I realized if you're doing a master's in India, I think you should aim for the best of the best that India has to offer, right? Now, even so, IISc and IITs, the old IITs are the ones which I really wanted to get into. And especially IISc because I had actually visited IISc for a short summer school when I was in my third year. So after that, I was very interested. Okay, this is what IISc is. This is how studies actually happen here. So I was really interested in attending IISc because of those reasons. Because I had interacted with the professors there, where I had stayed there for a week and interacted with the students there. So I thought, even if I mean, IIIT Hyderabad, no doubt, is a very good college, but I still felt somewhere down the line that I want to try one more time because I really wanted to get into the top tier, and I also had the confidence that even if next year things don't really work out, I had the confidence that I'd be able to clear IIIT Hyderabad again, and then get into, at least I had some backup in that sense. So I felt okay, fine. I mean, I'll give it an honest attempt again next time, and let's see how it goes. And then so I tried my best, and then it worked out well eventually. I mean, it worked out well. I think if you honestly put in a year of worth of efforts, gate can be cleared in a year. I mean, I wasn't able to manage it with my college and everything, but I think a year is sufficient time to put up to get done with gate. So if you start around fifth semester onwards, I think that is the best time to start preparing for gate. So what are my
So
learnings? What are my learnings from the first attempt? I think the biggest mistake I did in my first attempt was, I mean, I used to practice questions, but I never really gave any tests or tried to put myself in a pressure environment and solve questions. I used to always solve questions at my own pace, and then I had no strategy of preparing, entering while I was entering the exam, and how do you go about a paper? Nothing of that sort. So when I actually entered the exam, those are the things, the little things that matter. That you know, how do you approach the paper? Whether you attempt the first 1 mark questions first, or attempt the second mark question first, how do you go about that? All those little things I hadn't practiced at all. I mean, test taking, I had zero experience in. I mean, I would say negligible experience because I barely gave any tests. I had pretty much solved all previous year questions, but I was very low on test taking. So that was one of my biggest learnings, that this isn't a mistake that I wanted to repeat the next time onwards. So the next time I ensured that I gave a lot of tests. I gave around 200 tests topic wise and subject wise, and I gave around 35 full length tests before the exam. So going into the exam, I had a fixed strategy and fixed plan. This is how I'm going to approach the exam, and that is how it actually happened to the exam as well.
yeah, exactly. So for the students, who are planning to give their GATE examination again,
Yeah.
students out there, गोकुल कैन बी अ ग्रेट एग्जाम्पल फॉर यू. एक टाइम पहली टाइम पे अगर नहीं हो रहा है गेट एग्जामिनेशन, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि दूसरे टाइम में नहीं होगा. ऑफ कोर्स
Yeah, just so that people know, in my hello,
इस पे ध्यान दो.
hello. Yeah, sorry, I lost you, Naushad, in the middle of between.
नो,
Can you just
हियर
repeat
मी
what
नाउ.
you said? Yeah, I can hear you now.
या या सो मैं यही बता रहा था कि द स्टूडेंट्स हु आर प्लानिंग टू गिव गेट एग्जामिनेशन अगेन, यू कैन बी अ ग्रेट एग्जाम्पल फॉर देम.
Yeah,
मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि फर्स्ट टाइम.
yeah. In my batch, there are people who are repeaters who have gotten single digit ranks. So it's not like everybody clears in the first attempt. Lot of people do take 2 attempts to clear the exam. I've known people in ISU who even taken 3 attempts, and they managed to get a single digit or double digit rank, and they got where they really wanted to. So I would say quite a few significant number of people in my batch are who have taken 2 attempts to clear the exam. So definitely, if you're a repeater and if you really want to try and you feel that you deserve what better than what you have, then you should definitely take a drop, and then you should try your best. I'm pretty sure that the second time around the results will be much better.
Exactly. Yes. So,
Yeah,
Gokul study into IISc Bangalore now.
yeah,
You gave your GATE examination. You scored All India rank 101.
yeah,
Completed your interview process, and
yeah.
now when you're finally into IISc Bangalore, I actually want to know how is the overall experience at IISc Bangalore, and कैसे हुआ, मतलब गेट के बाद में did you went through some interview हुआ
Yeah,
आपका या डायरेक्ट सिलेक्शन हुआ?
yeah.
Yes,
So
you can.
so the thing is that GATE, if there are 2 programs basically IAC offers. One is the MTech program and the other is an MTech Research program. Now, MTech program is the one that usually people know of. Not a lot of people are aware of the details of how the MTech Research program works. So, MTech Research is that you apply and they call you till a certain number of rank. They call you for an interview, and during the interview, you have to specify which subjects you are comfortable with, and 4 5 professors take your interview. In my panel, there were around 5 professors from the department who took my interview. The interview was an hour long, and they grill you. It's not like they ask you very difficult questions, but they make sure that the basics of the concepts are very clear with you, because they also know you've come from undergrad, so they don't expect that you know everything. But are you able to answer? Are your foundation strong? Is what they look for. So I had to appear for an interview. I actually appeared for 4 interviews. I appeared for 2 interviews at IIC. I appeared for one interview at IIT Delhi and then one for IIT Madras. I was able to clear 3 out of them. I cleared both of them at IISc. One at IIT Delhi also I cleared, and IIT Madras I was unable to clear. But then by the time I was already sure that I wanted to go into IIC, and I had gotten my results by then also. So I was very sure that IIC is where I want to be. Now, the difference between MTech Research and MTech is that MTech is mostly coursework based. So you take a lot of courses and it's a fixed duration. Like you have to finish everything within 2 years. And by 2 years, you're outside and you have a job and everything that. MTech Research is more relaxed in the sense that you have lesser courses, but you have to do more of a research component. You have to do research more seriously. So that is the difference between MTech and MTech Research. MTech Research helped me in the sense because I knew that I wasn't very interested in covering a breadth of subjects, but I had a particular areas, few areas which I really liked while preparing for GATE that I wanted to go into the depth of. So I prepared for those areas and got into that area while during my interview, and then I got into that area, and that is how research usually happens. You have to specify an area, and then you get into that. You're interviewed by professors of that area, and then you get admission in that area. So that is how it happens in ISC. Yeah,
Okay. So, uh, many of the students are aspiring to get into IIT, IISc Bangalore. Uh,
yeah,
but the most common questions that I got from the student was, what is the right approach towards gate preparation? What is so basically you can elaborate your preparation strategy when you were preparing for gate examination. So how did you
Yeah.
how
Hello.
get
Sorry, I lost you for a bit. Can you just repeat your question?
yeah, yeah. So I was saying that the most common question that I got from the students was the preparation strategy. So
Yeah.
first of all, what is the right time to start gate preparation?
Yeah.
सेकेंड प्रिपरेशन कौन से सब्जेक्ट से स्टार्ट करना है और
Yeah.
कैसे करना है, कितना टाइम देना है डेली बेसिस पे, प्लस कौन से सब्जेक्ट्स को इंपॉर्टेंस देना है, मैथमेटिक्स जनरल एप्टीट्यूड क्या रोल प्ले करता है पूरे गेट एग्जामिनेशन में. आई
Yeah.
अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू आर फ्रॉम कंप्यूटर साइंस, तो मे बी यू कैन explain your this thing, your subjects
Yeah.
from computer science background.
Definitely.
Yeah, huh.
So,
Yeah.
when is the ideal time to start gate preparation? I think fifth semester, when you just finish your second year, when you're starting with your third year, I think that is the right time to start your gate preparation. I mean, 1.5 years should be more than enough if you're preparing for gate seriously. Now, how many? A lot of people ask me, how many hours did you put in, and how much effort do you have to put in on a daily basis? Now, I mean, I don't have a fixed answer per se, because there isn't a fixed amount of hours that you put in every day. You try to study till you're satisfied every day. But so when I was in college, I used to be able to take out around 3 to 4 hours. But when I was doing it full time, when I'd taken a drop, when I didn't have a college or anything else, I used to put around 9 to 10 hours on a daily basis for 6 months. That is, I was able to put in because I had nothing else to do, right? So I used to sit at 9 in the morning and study till 7, 8 in the night. That is how my daily schedule used to be. And now, how to prepare for GATE? I think the most important thing to know while for GATE preparation is that standard textbooks and resources are very important. And this is not just what toppers tell me, but professors inside also have the same opinion that standard textbook and standard resources are also are very important. That is where you should. I mean, that is where you should learn your concepts from. And I think every coaching also emphasizes on this fact that you coaching and everything is fine. You learn from coaching. There a lot of coaching does a very good explanation of all the concepts and everything, but you yourself also have to go out and do your own homework by reading those concepts from textbooks and other standard resources that professors usually provide. And practice problems. GATE is all about practice, if you ask me. So the previous year questions themselves are around 3,000 questions of them, and other than that, I think you should solve at least 6 7,000 questions in total to be a bit confident that, I mean, 3,000 questions you'll have from your previous year questions anyway. But if I had to put a number, of course this varies from person to person, but at least 6 7,000 questions you need to be solved. You need to have finished solving before you actually appear for the examination. And there are certain subjects which are really important. I think data structures and algorithms is a very important subject. So if you're comfortable with data structures and algorithms, it not only helps you in GATE, but also after GATE, you have to take a course in algorithms once you start your masters as well. So you need to do that course very thoroughly. Make sure you get very comfortable with coding, programming, because you need that not only for GATE, but it also need that once you're inside the college, and also for your placements inside the college, you need to be comfortable with coding, with data structures, algorithms. On the same way, to get better at data structure algorithms, you also need to be good at discrete mathematics, which is an important subject in GATE. Now, if you're good at discrete mathematics, another subject, theory of computation, becomes very easy for you, because these are all extensions of mathematics basically. I wouldn't call them computer science subjects per se. These are all, I mean, they're of course computer science, but they are logical extensions of mathematics itself. And then there are other heavy proper subjects such as computer organization, which a lot of people are really afraid of. But I think computer organizations, if you study properly, if you pay attention and study in a detailed way, I think it's a very intuitive subject. So computer, but if I had to make a list of sorts, which would be at the top of my priority, I think the first would be data structure algorithms. Second would be top three subjects, if I had to say. Second would be computer organization architecture, and third would be mathematics. Discrete mathematics is also very important in my opinion. And other than that, yeah, I think that is pretty much it.
Yeah. So, to add on, I have a question from Dhruvesh.
Yeah.
What he is asking is how to manage GATE semester examination, projects, and placements.
Okay, so I'm probably not the right person to answer this because during my seventh semester, I decided that I'll not sit for placements. So I didn't have that burden. But I do know people who prepared for GATE along with placements and did much better than me even in the first attempt. So I think it is all. I mean, how do you say? I think placements usually get done in the first few months, right? If companies start coming, so July, August, September, you'll be done for placements. And so subjects like something like data structure algorithms, mathematics, they help in your placements as well. So you could maybe use that time to focus on those subjects which are both common to your placements as well as your GATE preparation. Now, like companies usually ask concepts from data algorithm, operating systems, computer networks, databases. These are subjects which companies also ask questions from. So you could maybe use that time to overlap those preparation as well as your placement preparation. Final year project, I think in the first seventh semester, I think in Mumbai University generally happens that in the first semester, in the seventh semester, you don't go into the very details of the final year project. You just have a rough outline ready. So I didn't spend a lot of time on the project in the seventh semester, but after GATE was done, I spent around 1.5 months. So I mean, project really doesn't come in the way. I mean, it doesn't come a lot. If you really want to, then you can take out time easily without a lot of difficulty.
Okay. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have another question from Mrudula. She
Yeah.
is asking, can we rely on university syllabus for GATE preparation?
Uh, I mean, I think gate test concepts at a much more fundamental level. So I think it is the university textbooks that you get or whatever guides that you get. I don't think. I mean, they might be able to help you clear gate with bare minimum marks. So like you suppose you get 25, 30 marks, but that doesn't really get you admission anywhere. For GATE, the important thing is to know your concepts very thoroughly. Your fundamentals have to be very clear, and you have to practice a lot of problems. I repeatedly emphasize that practice on as many problems as you can from as many sources as you can.
Yes,
That is what will help you clear GATE with good marks.
exactly. Yeah. So I can see a similar question in the chat box. The student has asked, can you please shortly list out the standard test books for each subject?
Okay, I
So
mean, I, I think that might. I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think
yeah,
you can just look up any toppers interview, and they're most likely suggested the textbooks that they had used. Or even if you look at your MU syllabus, if you get the syllabus document, there are some reference books which are mentioned in even the university syllabus. Those are the reference books which are actually used in undergraduate courses in top institutes like IITs or NITs. So even having a look at those textbooks will get you started somewhere. You can also look at NPTEL courses. They also sometimes mention the textbooks that they are using, so you can get an idea from there as well.
yeah. So Gokul, as you are right now in your first year of MTech in IISc, and I
Yeah,
understand that due to this COVID situation, you haven't visited the campus yet. Uh,
yeah.
so we actually want to know how are your classes being conducted, practicals कैसे हो lectures कैसे हो examinations कैसे हो
I mean, yeah. So So I think this semester has been a bit different for both the professors as well as the students because they are also not used to this environment. But I think classes are going fine. I mean, they happen either on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever. The advantage is that we have recordings of it, so we can watch it at our own pace, or you can watch it multiple times. This is something which you not have in a real time live environment. But other than that, I think not just IISc, but any MTech program at, I say any IIT, their courses are very challenging. They'll make sure that the professors will make sure that they push you out of your comfort zone. And at times it might even feel overwhelming. I mean, कि मुझसे नहीं हो रहा है. This is a lot of efforts. But after it's done, you realize that you somehow made through all of it. But you have to constantly keep pushing yourself. The professors also ensure that they keep pushing you. Now, so say compared to undergrad, there's a lot of differences. Like professors really don't focus on, कि मुझे मतलब if it's a 5 mark question तुम इतना बड़ा आंसर लिखो, वैसा नहीं होता है. In fact, professors tell you that if you write long answers and pointless answers, will deduct your marks. They said if it's a 1 mark answer, I'll give you 10 marks, but that one line answer should be correct for 10 marks. And a lot of subjects even have open book exams. They'll basically tell you can use any resource that you want, make use of the internet, and make use of anything that you want. But so they design also questions in such a way that you can't really look up in a textbook and answer. They'll make sure that you are forced to think on your own and come up with new ideas or come up with new solutions. So they are very challenging, of course, but they're also very fun because they ensure that whatever is you're being taught, you actually put it to use. They test you very well on those concepts.
Yes. I guess this open book examination would be a new concept for all the students who are watching this session.
I mean, I've even heard stories of professors giving you exams and they'll give you you have 3 days and after 3 days give me the exam paper back. That also happens.
Oh. So similarly, I have another question from a student. The question is actually interesting. The student is asking how BTech is different from MTech.
Okay, I think I lost you again.
Am I audible now?
Sorry, Nashad, I lost you for a moment. Can you just please repeat the question?
Yeah. So I have a similar question from another student. The question is actually interesting. What he is asking is how MTech program is different from a BTech program, and especially when you're pursuing MTech from IISc Bangalore.
Yeah. So I think I mean the difference is in fact the depth of the content that graduate school takes you to. I mean I'm pretty sure if you're from a CS background, you will take operating system somewhere in your semester. I think it's the 5th or 6th semester you take a course on operating systems. But there isn't a lot of learning. I mean they teach you basics and ऊपर से पढ़ा देते. But now, suppose on a similar course, if you take operating systems or IISc, you actually have to work on an actual operating system. You have to design your own operating system, and so you have to actually work with large code bases. You have to write your own operating system. You have to write your own modules. So those are the things which actually push you, and they make sure that you understand everything in very detail. It's basically any subject that you choose, you'll go into the depth of it. So by the time you're out, when you finish the course, you know that course and you know that area very well. So if even if placements, if interviews happen, if people ask you questions, you'll be able to answer them very well. So I think it's more about the depth of courses that you go into. The depth is the differentiating factor, if you ask me.
So Gokul, what specialization are you doing currently?
Yeah. So how it works in IISc is that there are broadly 3 specializations. So one is theory, and one is systems, and the other is artificial intelligence or intelligent systems. So systems, consists of subjects like operating systems, computer architecture, compilers. All those subjects fall into computer system, and that is what I'm majoring in. So I'm doing my specialization in computer systems research. So now, how it happens is that you are interviewed by professors from the system department, and once you're inside, you have to take. So you are given a list of 5 6 professors, and then you have to talk to all these professors and decide which professor or which area you want to work in. So once you they give you enough time. They ask you to explore all the areas and talk to all professors, and then they once you've done that, by the end of the first semester you have to decide a professor and come at a decision. So that is how MTech research works at IISc. The same works for other areas as well. I mean, in theory also there are 5 6 professors allotted to you. Once you join in, you talk to them and you talk to all professors. You explore all areas, and then you finally decide on one area. Because a lot of time, what happens is what you think a subject is at the undergrad level, at the graduate level, it can be very very different. So a lot of people have the idea that okay, I want to do machine learning, or say I want to do this, but the machine learning they know and the machine learning that is being done at the level of ISC sometimes is very different. So that is why they give you enough time to explore, so that you don't really get stuck in an area which you don't want. But once you've done exploring, I think then they are able you get an advisor, you get allotted an advisor, then your meetings with him, some things like that happen after that.
So इसका future scope क्या है? As in what is the future scope of the program that you are currently doing, and what kind of jobs you will get once you complete your masters?
Okay, so first of all, I'll make this thing clear. There is no difference between placements for MTech and MTech research. All the companies which come for MTech, they also allow MTech research students to sit. There is no discrimination or something like that. MTech research is actually an advantage because at places like IISc, MTech closes at around all India rank 50, 60. But MTech research, you get interview calls in even 500, 600 rank. So it's not like if you're not done well in not done in GATE, everything is over now. MTech research is a very valid option. And so what are the future option? So MTech research is that even compared to even MTech, in an MTech research, you go more in depth into an area. So what that helps is, suppose in case you want to do a PhD in the future, then MTech research has given enough research experience that you'll be able to apply for a PhD. And then suppose there are some jobs which prefer a slight bias towards MTech research students over MTech students, because they have more specialized knowledge in a particular area. Now suppose if I've done research work in machine learning or something like that, there are some companies which would like students who've done research in machine learning, so that you might get a slight edge over no other students when you come to placements. But other than that, the opportunities are always the same. There is no discrimination. MTech research people get the same opportunity. The only so MTech research is actually much more relaxed because you don't have a lot of courses, but of course you have to do your research on the side. Now, like I can afford to take only 1 or 2 courses, where MTech people have to take 4 courses a semester. So it is much more relaxed, but also you have to do your research. It's not like you can just come and chill, but it is a different kind of pressure that you get in MTech research.
Okay. So, Nasir have asked a question in the chat box. Do IISc have exchange program with university abroad in US and UK? I guess this is actually an interesting question.
I mean, okay, I'm not very sure if there's an exchange program per se, but I've definitely heard of students who go abroad for internships or semester long visits where they go. So it all depends. In an MTech program, you usually don't have time for all this. But say you are in an MTech research program, or you're in a PhD program, you get a lot more time at your disposal where you can do things like you can visit a university abroad. Or suppose if your advisor knows a professor who's working in an area in a different university, he can connect you with that professor and then you can go visit them. Things like that usually happens. But a formal exchange program, I'm not very sure if there's something like that. Yeah.
Okay. I would, meanwhile, I would request all the students to, start posting questions. We'll, take questions one by one. So, if in case you have questions, doubts, you can post your questions in the chat box. Gokul, for you, I have a question from Nikita. So, what Nikita is asking is, she is telling that she missed her 11th and 12th boards, and competitive examinations after which happens after that JW or either CET
Yeah,
examination.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this time she wants to give GATE examination, but she's scared. उसका doubt ये है कि whether she'll be able to crack GATE examination, and how different GATE is from your 12th standard competitive examination.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people have this fear that if they were unable to clear JE or, at
Yes.
IIT, they were not able to get in. So even GATE is that difficult. No, I definitely not. I think GATE is not that difficult. And even if you've missed the boat while in your 11th and 12th to get into an IIT, it is not like you'll not be able to clear. In fact, I've even heard of people, I've known people in my college itself who didn't even appear for 11th and 10th, who did a diploma, and after that they were able to clear GATE with a double digit rank, and they were able to perform excellently while after they have joined the institute as well. So I mean, a lot. So I definitely would say that you shouldn't have that mental block कि 11 12th में नहीं हुआ तो अभी भी नहीं होगा. I think they are two very different examinations, and you should start. I mean, you should start fresh and start on a new note कि नहीं वो नहीं हुआ. But this is a different examination. The skill set required are different. So you'll definitely able to clear. I mean, I personally didn't have a great experience in 11th and 12th. I prepared for IIT, but I also couldn't clear it with a very good rank. So it's not like you'll not be able to. Definitely, I think you should. I think anybody. I have most people. I have a lot of people in my batch who are from tier 3 colleges. Who didn't really have a very strong undergraduate background or didn't do well in 11th and 12th, but now they are doing very well because they prepared for GATE very well.
Yes. Siddesh Wankhade is asking, how can a second year student start studying for GATE examination, and what is the strategy to score and have a good rank in third year examination?
Okay, so if you're studying in second year, I think the best advice I would have is to just the university subjects that you have, study them properly. Don't study them just for the sake of examinations or just for the sake of getting good marks in the examination, but actually take an effort to understand the content that is being taught to you. Even if it's not, I mean, pretty sure it will not be helpful for university examination, but if your concepts are clear, they'll be very, very helpful for your GATE examination. So make sure that you study from good resources, good textbooks, good online video lectures which are available from IIT professors, or even MIT professors or professors from universities which are abroad. Make sure you study from them, make your concepts very clear, and as usual, practice as many problems as you can, whatever subject you're doing.
Great. So, Gokul, I would like to ask you any motivational stories or any you would like to share with the students during your preparation while you were preparing for GATE examination.
Yeah.
Any motivational scenario? Or,
So I think more than motivation, I think it's important for people to know that even people who've done well in GATE, it is not that they always do well for preparing for GATE. People, a lot of people. It used to happen with me when I used to prepare for. I started giving mock tests around 2 months before my exam, and I used to give tests and I used to get marks which are not very. They used to be low. So I used to feel like, oh, अरे बाप रे, ड्रॉप लेने के बाद भी अगर नहीं हो रहा है तो मुझसे मे बी एग्जाम के टाइम में भी नहीं होगा. But you have to realize that everybody goes through this phase. All toppers that I've talked to. I had a friend. So what I used to do was, I had a friend in IIT Bombay, Kartavya, who was a Vidyalankar student. We used to study together. So I used to call up and talk to him, and he used to say that जब मैं GATE के लिए prepare करता था ना, I also used to get low marks. मेरा भी ये marks आते थे, and it is not something which doesn't happen to anybody. Even single digit rankers I've known, they scored low marks while preparing for GATE. But it's very important that you don't get disheartened by that, because these are not your final marks. Final marks नहीं है, these are you're only preparing. These are mock tests. These are only to realize where you are lacking. So the most important thing is to study the mistakes that you made in the mock test, and don't take those marks very seriously to your heart. I think a lot of aspirants do that. They think, अरे मेरे mock test में they get 1-2 test में कम आ जाते हैं, so they feel like, अरे यार अब मेरा पढ़ने का मन ही नहीं है. I can't do it. GATE is a very difficult exam. But I just want to say, सबके साथ होता है. It's not something which doesn't happen to anybody. It's very rare to meet people जिनके mocks अच्छे नहीं गए. So don't get disheartened. Take the don't take those marks very seriously, but make sure you take the mistakes that you do in a test very seriously, so that you don't repeat the same mistakes in the exam. That was my only goal when I was giving mock test कि जो भी गलतियां करनी सारी mock test में करनी, final exam में जाके कुछ गलती नहीं करनी. So if I'm
Exactly.
not, if I remember correctly, I had I mean if I had attempt gate में 65 questions होते हैं and I attempted around 54 I think, and I got 52 of them correctly. So it's not even like you have to attempt all 60 questions or all 65 questions. Even if you
Yes.
even if you attempt lesser number of questions, but you aim for accuracy, that is more than enough for you.
Exactly. Yes. Uh, Another student is asking how to study for the theoretical subjects like computer networks and COA.
Okay, computer networks, computer organization. I think the best option is to look at. I mean, you can skim once you. The best option is always to use proper reference books. Study. I mean, there are proper reference books available for each subject. So what I used to do was I so reference books are sometimes very dense and you can't go through them multiple times. So what I used to do was when I was the first time I was reading, I used to make short notes out of them, and I also used to compile material from other coaching material or something like that where I might have missed a couple of points while reading the textbook. And once I made those short notes, I always used to revise from those short notes again and again. So I think the best for theoretical subjects. Theoretical subjects, the best option is always standard textbooks which are available to you, and you have to make the best or most out of them. So
Yes.
and another tip which I'd like to have was I also used to maintain a notebook of the mistakes that I had made in my tests. I used to do that. I used to
Okay.
carry a notebook. I mean the notebook was around 150 pages, just full of mistakes that I had made in my tests. So
Mhm.
what I used to do was in the last few months, last few weeks, I also used to revise the mistakes that I made so that I remember that okay, these are the mistakes that I've made in the mock test. I wouldn't like to repeat them in the final exam, and that really helped me so to avoid silly mistakes or something like that. वो सब exam में I made sure that I avoided them.
Yeah. Students, we can still take more questions. In case if you have questions, I would request everyone to post questions in the chat box. Uh, Gokul, uh, you
Okay,
know,
no, so
since
see, no, just a second. I see somebody saying that can we get your gate notes? But I think the best option is your handmade gate notes are always the best option. You shouldn't rely on anybody else's note. Make sure that you write whatever you want so that you remember you can make the most out of it. Now, even if you take all India Rec one's notes, उसने अपने हिसाब से लिखा होगा, उसने सबके लिए तो लिखा नहीं है. So you have to make sure that you make your own notes and you make the best out of them. Yeah, you were asking something. Sorry, I interrupted you in between.
yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. So uh, now that since you are already in IISc Bangalore now, you have already
Yeah.
achieved, achieved a lot of things in your past. If I have to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What would be your answer?
Okay, I mean, I'm trying not to look 5 years ahead. I think in terms of research, so what happens in research is there is a lot of uncertainty. So you have shorter goals and you try to take things one day at a time or just 1 week at a time. But other than that, I'm not very sure. I mean, if I finish my research degree, I probably work for a couple of years and then see if I like industry. If I do like industry, I'd like to continue. But if I really want to get back, then I might apply for a PhD. It may be in India, most likely in India. I'll apply for a PhD or something like that. So that is what I have in mind, but I'm not very sure of that anymore. I'm just focusing on my studies right now and taking things as they come.
So as we are already towards the end of this session, Gokul, before ending the session, I would actually request you to share some points of wisdoms to the students so that even they can excel in their career.
Okay. Okay. Excel in the career. I mean, I'm not really the right person to say that any I'm still a student, but I think what helps is make sure you're very strong technically. Your fundamentals are very strong, because they are always repeatedly they'll get tested at different points, whether you're MTech, whether you're going for interviews, whether in your job, they'll repeatedly get tested. So make sure you don't skip on your fundamentals. And also I think in an exam like GATE, it's very important to have a peer group. Now that is something which really helped me. I mean, in Vidyalankar, I met a few friends who are still together with me. Now they are almost about to graduate. One of them is graduating from IIT Bombay. One of them is graduating from IIT Roorkee. They're still in contact with me. So even during GATE prep, we used to sit together, solve problems together. It is important to have like-minded people, who are targeting the same exam or same goal as you have. Even in IISc, I would say the biggest advantage of being in an environment like IISc is that you have brilliant people all around you. You surround yourself with brilliant people and you get to learn so much from them. That is the biggest advantage. Of course, the professors, the curriculum, everything is also a big plus. But you get to surround yourself with brilliant people. You get to learn so much from them. I think that is very important to have in mind. And when you have a group, it also helps you stay motivated. Now, if suppose I was not feeling very keen or something like that, एक test अच्छा नहीं गया, I used to talk to my friend and he used to say, अच्छा हाँ, maybe मेरा भी अच्छा नहीं गया था, but ठीक है, we'll work on it together. I'll help you, you can help me. So I think it's very important to have a peer group. That definitely helped me a lot, and I would definitely suggest, finding people who are in the right, or chasing the right target and chasing, doing the same things that you are doing. That is one way how coaching helped me. It helped me meet a lot of people who are preparing for the same goal that I was preparing for. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult if I had to do it all alone.
Your research in.
Sorry, I missed it. What was it?
So this is another question from Ravikant. He is asking, what are you doing your research in?
Okay, what am I doing my research in? When I got into IISc, I wanted to do research in computer organization and architecture. But I took a course in computer architecture, but I also took a couple of other courses. I took a course in security as well, system security. So after taking that course, I realized that the idea of security I had in mind and what actually happens was very different. And I got more interested in security. So I talked to the professor, I asked him what he was working on. And I realized, okay, this seems much more interesting to me. So I'm broadly working in the area of security. Now, security itself is a very wide field, and there is a lot of research happening in security. In my lab itself, there is a variety of research that is happening. But I've not really narrowed down a particular field within security. But yeah, broadly you could say security is what I'm interested in, is what I'm working on right now.
Yes. Anything else apart from this, Gokul, that you would like to add? You would like to share with the students?
Other than that, but I think GATE is actually, it's a fun exam. I mean, apart from the pressure and everything, it was a very fun. I had a lot of fun while preparing for the exam. I mean, we used to get together, friends के साथ, we used to discuss problems, we used to brainstorm things. We used to ask, how do you do this, how do you do that? I think it's also important to, have fun while preparing for the exam. Don't treat it as a very big burden. It's not a very difficult exam. I'll repeat this again. It's not very difficult. Of course, don't take it very lightly as well, but it's not a very difficult exam. So whatever mental blocks you have in the past, wo sab bhul jao, start afresh. And also at the same time, remember that GATE is not the end of everything. GATE is just one exam which has other things. There are other exams. JEST is an exam a lot of people don't know about. IISc recruits through JEST. IIIT Hyderabad has an exam of its own. Chennai Mathematical Institute, CMI has an exam of its own. TIFR has an exam of its own. Lot of exams. But all these while, I think it's also important to have some perspective. Ki don't take it very seriously. Also, don't forget to have fun. Take out time with your family. It might seem very difficult. Take out time with your friends. Because I would definitely not would have been able to do without the support of my friends and family as well. Because whenever I used to not feel well or not have my studies wasn't on the right track, I used to talk to them and tell them aisa ho raha, and they'll be like, it's okay. I mean, we have faith in you. I mean, have some outside interaction as well. if you have other hobbies or other sports, you do something, don't lose them completely. Of course, gate is exam, you need to put in a lot of time, but make sure you do other things which keep you entertained as well. Because even when I was preparing for gate, I used to take a day completely off and do no studies when I was doing a drop. Because I felt that you needed one day to rejuvenate yourself and do things that you like, so that I can go back to studies with a fresh mind. I think that is very important.
So the other examinations which you just mentioned,
Yeah.
is the portion similar to GATE examination? I guess it is more
Uh,
or like similar to GATE.
it is mostly a subset of gate examination. Gate covers every subject. There are
Yeah.
TIFR is more theory oriented. CMI is also more theory oriented. Triple IT Hyderabad has a special paper for aptitude as well. But if you're prepared for gate well, all of these exams should not be very difficult for you.
मतलब आप अगर गेट प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो तो ये सब एग्जामिनेशंस भी आप दे
हाँ,
सकते हो.
आप सब कवर कर ही रहे हो इनमें, सब कवर कर
Yes.
लोगे आप.
Yes. Yeah. So, Gokul, one last question.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Sumit is asking, tell the strategy to learn discrete mathematics. There are a lot of ambiguity in some concepts.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I think in general applies for any subject which you find which are not very clear or ambiguous about. Try to learn from different sources. आपको एक वीडियो लेक्चर नहीं है, दूसरा वीडियो लेक्चर देखो, वो नहीं है, look at another textbook, वो नहीं है, look at another textbook. I mean, it might take a lot of time, but वैसे बहुत ज्यादा ऐसे concepts होते नहीं जो ambiguous होते. So it is well worth putting in that effort, and आप अलग अलग जगह से सीखो. सम अप्रोच विल डेफिनेटली स्ट्राइक. आपको कुछ ना कुछ एक एक्सपेक्ट, एंड आफ्टर वाइल वो अपने आप क्लियर हो जाएगा तुम्हारा. So same applies for discrete maths as well. Try to learn from as many sources as possible. And as usual, maths जो बचपन से सुनते आ रहे, practice as many problems as you can. आप एक टाइप के अगर 100-150 प्रॉब्लम करोगे, मतलब एक सब्जेक्ट के, so eventually you will get clarity in that subject. So maths, I would say, practice as much as you can. This applies for GATE anyway, but especially more so for subjects like discrete mathematics, algorithms, data structures. Practice as much as you can.
So, Gokul, there's
Okay.
another question actually.
Yeah.
From
Okay.
Saurabh.
Yeah. I missed it. Okay. Yeah. So I had actually appeared for ISRO also last year. So ISRO last year, 1 month before ISRO हुआ था, and then January में हुआ था ISRO exam. I had cleared that as well. I had gotten a call for an interview from ISRO as well, but I didn't go because I'd already joined IISc by that time. Now ISRO में the focus is on speed. It's a 90 minutes exam, and the questions are very basic level. But in 90 minutes, you have to solve around, I don't remember very clearly, but I think you have to solve 90 questions in 90 minutes. While in GATE, you have 180 minutes for just 65 questions. So ISRO is all about speed. So if you're targeting ISRO, give as many tests as you can within a time constrained environment. अगर 90 minutes का exam है, try giving in 80 minutes, 85 minutes, so that you get an habit of doing things very fast, because that is what ISRO is all about. And उसके बाद interviews होते हैं. They you have to actually go to the ISRO center, and then there 7-8 professors sit and take your interviews. But I think interview experiences you'll find online if you look for them. So just search for ISRO CS interview experiences. You'll find a lot of people have shared their experiences. So that should be more than enough for it. But ISRO is all about speed. ISRO is definitely all about speed. Hello.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're back now.
Yeah. So the students who have who have not started your GATE preparations, we have started this batch for third year students as well as the second year students. For second year students, we have this 2 years foundation batch. The batches have already been started. You can inquire about this batch by calling this number. You can note this number. The number is 022 4232 4232. You can call on this number and inquire for 2 year foundation batch. This batch is exclusively for second year students, and the students who are in third year right now, we have this GATE 2022 batch. I would request you all to call on the same number, that is 022 4232, and inquire 4232 4232. Yes. And another information, Vidyalankar has launched has launched a new application. The name of the application is Vidyalankar Infinite. The application is already there in Google Play Store. I would request you to visit the Google Play Store and download the application. द एप्लीकेशन अभी तक फुल फ्लेज लॉन्च नहीं हुआ है, उसमें सिर्फ हम लोग ने मॉक टेस्ट डाला हुआ है. मे बी यू कैन डाउनलोड द एप्लीकेशन एंड गिव फ्यू मॉक टेस्ट. We have added 5 free mock tests for all the students, and soon we are going to launch our full-fledged application also. Yeah, so the link is already there in the chat box. So finally, Gokul, thank you so much for joining the session. The session was really great, informative, and I hope the student might have learned a lot from you. Thank you
I
very
hope
much
so
once
too.
again. Yeah. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
students out
if
there,
you want, I can. If you want, I can share my email ID. So if people have further queries, they can just email
of,
it to me if you want.
of course, yes.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. So just Gokulnath. I mean, you can type it out. Somebody Gokulnath136@gmail.com.
I'll just type it.
Yeah.
Gokulnath
GOKULNATH136@gmail.com.
136. Yeah. So I've already shared your email ID. Is it correct?
Yeah. This is the one. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much once again, Gokul.
No problems. No problems.
Yeah. And students out there, you can share your feedback on the chat box. You can let us know, कैसा था session. And you can share your feedback on the chat box. फटाफट chat box में अपना feedback डालो. And yes, do inquire on the number which I have given, that is 022-4232-4232. So that's all. That's it for today. Gokul, thank you so much. And students out there,
Thank
take
you. Thank you.
very good care of yourself. I hope you're taking very good care of yourself and stay safe. That's it. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.